Can you believe this? The very vitamins you take every morning to protect your health might actually be silently damaging your heart and your brain? It sounds impossible, doesn't it? But this shocking truth has already left thousands of people wishing they had learned it before it was too late. You know, after more than 30 years as a doctor, I've met countless people who truly believed they were doing the best thing for their health, especially when it comes to vitamin D. Almost every morning, I hear patients say, "Doctor, I take my vitamin D every day. It's good for my bones, my heart, and my mood." And they're right. Vitamin D is essential. But here's what most people don't know. Even a small habit, like taking vitamin D at night, can quietly increase your risk of a stroke while you sleep. I want you to picture this. You go to bed feeling healthy and peaceful. And the next morning, you wake up unable to move your arm, unable to speak clearly. What happened? In many of the cases I've seen, the cause wasn't high blood pressure or heart disease. It was high-dose vitamin D taken at the wrong time. When you consume too much vitamin D, your body absorbs more calcium than it needs. That excess calcium doesn't strengthen your bones. It floats through your bloodstream, sticking to artery walls and making them stiff. And at night, when blood pressure and circulation shift, that silent blockage can trigger a sudden stroke. I remember one of my patients, Walter, 74, a disciplined man who took pride in his health. Every evening, without fail, he took a 10,000 IU vitamin D capsule. Until one morning, he couldn't lift his right arm. His lab results showed calcium levels twice the normal range. If you're taking vitamin D, please take it in the morning, and make sure your doctor checks your blood levels regularly. Because in medicine, just like in life, even a good thing, when taken in excess, can quietly become the most dangerous. I still remember Mrs. Evelyn, an 81-year-old woman, petite, graceful, and always carrying a little book with her whenever she came to my clinic. She once said to me, "Doctor, I just want my heart to stay strong and my memory to stay sharp. I take vitamin E every day." That's good, right? I smiled, because I've heard that same question hundreds of times throughout my career. And yes, vitamin E can be good. It's an antioxidant that protects your cells and supports heart health. But in medicine, as in life, the line between benefit and danger is often thinner than we realize. 3 weeks later, Mrs. Evelyn was rushed to the emergency room with a severe headache, vomiting, and slurred speech. The CT scan revealed a small brain bleed, not from high blood pressure, but because her blood had become too thin. The reason? She was taking warfarin, a common blood thinner, and on top of that, 800 IU of vitamin E every day. That seemingly harmless combination prevented her blood from clotting when a tiny vessel in her brain ruptured. I want you to pause for a moment and ask yourself, are you taking vitamin E? Do you know exactly how much? Most people don't realize that just 15 milligrams, about 22 IU per day, from foods like nuts, vegetable oils, or leafy greens is enough for an older adult. Yet most supplements on the shelf contain 200, 400, even 1,000 IU, and we assume more must be better. But in medicine, just like in life, more is not always better. Sometimes, it's exactly what causes us to lose the things we value most. One morning, you wake up and realize your hands feel numb, like you're wearing invisible rubber gloves. You try to stand, but your legs wobble, your balance feels off. You tell yourself, it's just age, nothing serious. But sometimes, it's not that simple. I once had a patient named Harold, 76 years old, a retired truck driver. He came to see me, moving slowly, his hands trembling slightly. "Doctor," he said, "my feet feel numb, like ants are crawling on them. I thought maybe it was diabetes." But when I looked at his list of supplements, I was shocked. He was taking a nerve support formula that contained 100 milliliters of vitamin B6 per tablet, and he was taking 2 a day. What most people don't realize is that vitamin B6 is only helpful in the right dose. When taken too much, it begins to destroy the very nerves it claims to protect. I often tell my patients, vitamin B6 is like a good friend. It helps you stay sharp, but lean on it too much, and it might be the one that makes you fall. Science has shown that older adults only need 2 to 10 milligrams per day, most of which you already get naturally from foods like eggs, fish, potatoes, bananas, and chicken. Yet, many supplements on the market contain doses that are 10, 20, even 50 times higher, far beyond what the body can safely handle. I share Harold's story to remind you, nerve health doesn't come from a pill. It comes from balance. Sometimes, the very thing we believe is helping us might quietly be the reason we lose our sense of touch, our stability, and even our confidence in every step we take as we age. I want you to imagine a quiet morning. You're sitting by the window, reading the newspaper, sipping your coffee. Then, out of nowhere, your head feels heavy. The light around you begins to blur, and your vision clouds over like there's a thin mist across your eyes. You stand up, but the room starts spinning. You think maybe it's just fatigue. Maybe you didn't sleep well. But sometimes, the real cause comes from a tiny vitamin pill, one you've trusted for years to keep your eyes healthy. I once treated a patient named Dorothy, 79, a retired piano teacher. She loved life, loved her students, and always believed that taking care of herself was the key to living well. For years, she took a vitamin A supplement, the kind that promised better vision and youthful skin, just like the ad she'd seen in a magazine. When she came to see me, her vision had started to blur. She had constant headaches, and every time she bent over, she said it felt like her brain was pulsing inside her skull. Her blood tests showed vitamin A levels 3 times higher than the safe limit, leading to a condition called pseudotumor cerebri, a false brain tumor that can cause vision loss if not caught early. What broke my heart was that Dorothy wasn't careless. She was doing what many people still do, believing that vitamin A makes your eyes stronger. But here's the truth. Vitamin A is fat-soluble, which means your body doesn't flush it out easily. It builds up in your liver, your tissues, even your brain, slowly, quietly, until it becomes toxic. Most adults only need 2,500 to 3,000 IU per day, and you can easily get that from real food: eggs, milk, carrots, leafy greens. You see, even light itself can blind us when it's too bright. Vitamins are the same. The very thing that helps you see clearly can also make you lose your way, if you don't know when to stop. I want you to imagine this. You're sitting down, enjoying your morning tea, feeling perfectly fine. Then suddenly, your face feels flushed, your heart starts racing, your head feels light. You tell yourself, it's just my blood pressure acting up. But sometimes, the real cause isn't your heart at all. It's the vitamin you've been taking every day, believing it was good for your heart. I once treated a man named Frank, 82 years old, a gentle soul living a simple life in Florida. He believed in prevention over cure, so every morning he took what he called his heart vitamin. That pill contained 1,000 flaxtol of niacin, or vitamin B3, a small number on the label. But inside the body of an older adult, it was like a tiny bomb in the bloodstream. One morning, Frank became dizzy, slurred his speech, and collapsed. Thankfully, it was only a mini-stroke, a TIA, but it left him struggling with balance for months. When I reviewed his supplements, I found the cause: high-dose niacin. It had caused his blood vessels to expand too quickly, flooding his face with warmth, and then suddenly constrict, creating dangerous spikes in blood pressure. His heart raced, his brain was briefly deprived of oxygen, and just a few seconds of that can change a life forever. I know many people take niacin to lower cholesterol naturally. But as I often remind my patients, natural doesn't always mean harmless. For older adults, the safe dose is about 50 mg per day, and ideally under a doctor's supervision. Science shows that the heart doesn't need big pushes from vitamins. It needs balance, calm, and rhythm, just like your breath. Because true health isn't about adding more into your body. It's about knowing when enough is enough. I want you to think back to the last time you had a leg cramp in the middle of the night. That sharp pain in your calf that jolted you out of bed. You had to stretch, massage, and wait for minutes before it finally eased. Or maybe there were nights when you lay awake, heart racing, mind tired but unable to rest. Have you ever asked yourself, why is my body acting like this, even though I eat well? I've seen countless patients with the same story. And interestingly, most of them were missing one tiny mineral that plays a huge role in the body: magnesium. I remember Thomas, 68, a kind man who prided himself on eating healthy. Yet for months, he battled nightly cramps, restless sleep, and unpredictable spikes in blood pressure. His tests revealed chronic magnesium deficiency, a condition that affects over 70% of Americans over 60, often without them even realizing it. Magnesium is like the body's silent conductor. It keeps your heart in rhythm, your muscles relaxed, and your brain calm enough to say, "It's time to rest." When you don't have enough, your body tightens like a guitar string pulled too hard. And all it takes is one note to snap. Muscle pain, insomnia, heart palpitations, even high blood pressure. The good news? Balance can be restored naturally. Just 200 to 400 milliliters of magnesium per day. Or simply a handful of almonds, pumpkin seeds, a serving of greens, or a piece of grilled mackerel for dinner. You see, true health isn't always about adding something new. It's about replacing what we've forgotten. Magnesium is that quiet gift. Small, simple, yet powerful enough to help you sleep deeper, breathe easier, and move through each day with calm strength. I want to tell you something that most doctors never mention, yet it can mean the difference between a strong, healthy heart and arteries that slowly turn to stone. It's called vitamin K2, or as I like to call it, the calcium guide. I once had a patient named Robert, 72, a man who took his health very seriously. Every morning, like clockwork, he took his vitamins, D, calcium, omega-3, faithfully, almost like a ritual. He believed he was doing everything right. But a few years later, he began to feel chest tightness. His arteries grew stiff, and an X-ray revealed something alarming. Calcium was building up along his artery walls. "Doctor," he asked me, "I took calcium to make my bones strong. Why is it ending up in my blood vessels?" The answer was simple, but rarely talked about. He was missing vitamin K2. Think of it this way. Vitamin D helps your body absorb calcium, but K2 is the driver, steering that calcium to the right destination, your bones and teeth, instead of letting it wander and harden inside your arteries. Without K2, calcium floats through your bloodstream like tiny grains of sand, sticking to vessel walls and slowly turning them rigid, forcing your heart to work harder and raising your risk of stroke. Interestingly, in Japan, there's a traditional food called natto, fermented soybeans packed with vitamin K2. The Japanese, who eat it regularly, have remarkably low rates of arterial calcification, even at old age. If natto isn't for you, there are simpler options: eggs, cheese, or a small K2 supplement. Just 50 to 100 mmHg a day is enough. I always tell my patients, if you take vitamin D, don't forget its best friend, vitamin K2. Because true health isn't about taking more. It's about finding balance and understanding what your body truly needs. I know that after turning 60, many of us start each morning with a handful of pills. Vitamin D for the bones, B12 for memory, calcium for the heart, omega-3 for the brain. But have you ever stopped and asked yourself, how much of this is my body actually absorbing? The truth is, after 60, the body doesn't process synthetic vitamins the same way it used to. The digestive system slows down, the liver and kidneys become more selective, and much of what's in those pills simply passes through, never truly used by your body. I often tell my patients, instead of taking 10 pills, try eating one real meal. A small piece of salmon gives you natural omega-3s that no capsule can match. A single egg, a handful of greens, a few walnuts, or a slice of whole-grain bread. These foods carry nutrients your body recognizes, absorbs, and knows exactly what to do with. Sometimes, real health doesn't come from a bottle. It comes from the simple plate in front of you. From a good night's sleep, a warm glass of water, and a quiet walk in the morning sun. Your body doesn't need more things. It just needs what's real, what's natural, and what's enough. In the end, I want you to remember this. True health doesn't come from pills, supplements, or the latest diet trend. Real health comes from understanding and respecting your body every single day. When you learn to listen to the small signals, the ache in your legs, a restless night's sleep, or a heartbeat that feels just a bit too fast, that's your body whispering to you. At 50, 60, or 70, living well isn't about racing against age. It's about slowing down long enough to understand yourself. A real meal, a deep night's rest, and a peaceful mind are often more powerful than 100 vitamin tablets combined. Lesson to remember: don't just take care of your health through habit. Take care of it through awareness. Choose real food. Live with balance. Get regular checkups, and truly know your body. Question for you. What's one small habit that helps you feel healthier every single day? Share your answer in the comments so others can learn from you too. And don't forget to subscribe to Everyday Vital Path so we can keep creating meaningful content for you.